Previously on Ring the Bell Radio, you heard our thoughts on the New York segment. Now, sit back, relax, and listen to the most erotic thing you can ever hear on a podcast. Wrestlemania 2, Part 2, Chicago.
So, with this being, I think I see Barris walking in. Is that Barris?
Rabbi in the house.
Yeah, he just walked through. So, Logan, now that Barris is here, I think we just before we ask Barris the big question that we told the audience we were going to do you want to give your opinion on this first third of WrestleMania 2, the New York segment?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. So, if you like old school wrestling, it's a good example of it. When I say old school, I'm saying like 98, all right? So anything before that, this old school. It's a good example of it. Matches.
This was 1986.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anything pre that, okay? That's how I see it anyway. But absolutely no pizzazz, no razzle dazzle, nothing.
Told you.
People get to the ring and that's it. You just start fighting. And it was nostalgic to watch. It was nostalgic to watch. And parts of it I hated because it was just, time was wasted on matches. But it was very nostalgic for me to watch. Now, this is the one thing I'm going to say, okay? Oh, my God. I love Vince McMahon, all right, as a commentator. He, next to JR and The King, he's probably my favorite commentator. I mean, even above Gorilla, all right, just because I like how Vince can walk you through an entire match, okay? And I just like that. The chick who was with Vince, what was her name?
Susan St. Clair, I think.
Her. Right? Just totally and utterly. I want her to die.
Susan,
right?
I'm sorry, Susan St. James.
Yeah, I don't give a what her name is. Just die. That was the worst commentator you could have picked. It was so bad. Some of the prime example of this, okay, is Jake the Snake, DDTs, gets up and he's walking over, obviously, to go get Damien, right? She's like, oh no. It's Vince had to cover everything. Oh, he's a very nasty man in the ring. I don't like how he squiggles. This is so bad. So bad. It ruined. Literally, it is so bad that if I gave this, say I gave this 7 stars, all right? Say I gave this a royal flush, it would knock that down, all right, to half of it.
Oh,
because
wow.
she literally destroyed. You can't listen to the commentating unless it's just Vince. And you'll hear Vince realizes a bit through the actual day that she's garbage because he just starts over commentating on everything to try and fill the voids because there's no real interaction between them unless Vince starts it. And it's bad. It's so bad. All right.
So with this first third, first part of WrestleMania 2, out of 5 stars, what would you guys give it? I know, Barris, you came in late to the conversation, and I know you've seen WrestleMania 2 many times. But out of 5 stars, what would you give it?
2.5.
2.5 for this first one in New York? Okay.
I would have given it 3. Okay, just for nostalgia, but now I have to knock that down to 1.5.
I would have to agree with you that I thought this was the weakest part of the WrestleMania. I would only give it 1.5 stars. So, for this New York segment. But before we go over to Chicago, Barris, Logan and I have a question for you.
Question for me.
Yeah. So, and I know I already explained this to the audience before you got here, but it seems when I walked into the building, there was a young gentleman here. And I basically was just like, hello, who are you? And he goes, my name's Phil. I work for Barris. I'm his intern. And I was just like, oh, okay. Interesting. So about 10 minutes later, Logan walks in the building. I immediately go over to him.
Immediately.
Yeah. And I was just like, hey, did you know Barris got an intern? And I think Logan was just like, oh, hell no.
I was shocked. I did not.
And
I
you
did
went to
not
find
know.
this gentleman.
Mhm.
And you were like, hello, who are you? And he's like, I'm Phil. I work
So-
for Barris.
So I tell Tom, all right, to go make me a cup of tea then.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I don't make tea. Like, has this really nasally, scratchy voice. He's like, I don't make tea. And I was like, who the f?
Yeah.
You gotta make tea if you work here, mate.
No.
Sharon
So-
makes
No.
tea.
No, tea's disgusting.
So what we
So
hold on.
yeah,
Oh,
we
my
don't do
God.
we don't do tea.
What
No,
we want
we
to
can't.
know is why do you have an intern? What could you possibly need an intern for?
Well, I was late today, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And I was doing an interview for Rabbi Q magazine.
Rabbi
And,
Q, RQ
Yeah,
magazine.
it's like the rabbi's version of GQ. So
Oh,
I've
okay,
since I
RQ.
won second rabbi, I'm on the cover this month coming.
Yeah.
And celebrate me, acknowledge me, which they're doing, which is good.
Mhm.
And I need someone to get my coffee or my chalky milk, or kind of keep up on my auction bids for some Howard the Duck memorabilia. So I thought it was a good move, and well use of funds to get myself an intern.
We're not paying for this intern. You're paying for him out of your pocket. I think Logan and I discussed that.
Okay,
also-
that's what you think.
I also got myself an intern as well.
Yeah.
His name's Jeffrey. He does make tea. Jeffrey, you make a couple, will you, mate? Yeah, cheers, bro. He's
Yeah.
good.
All right.
Well, wait,
It
why
looks
am I
like-
being questioned then?
Look, hey, I need a court. Okay, I'm building a court here.
Because Logan went out and found this person. This is on his I want to say it's on his own dime, but this is unpaid internship for experience.
That's right. The
So-
experience of getting to be around me.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah, I mean they get the hey, I can put this on my resume.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Look and listen to this dude's resume. It's cool. Worked for the royal family. Okay, like that. Okay. 20 years of experience with a single family.
He's Mr. Belvedere.
Helped
Nice.
raise the child of that family after he was orphaned when his parents were killed in an alleyway after watching a movie. is very competent in technology, hacking, engineering, something called sonar, something. He can stitch a wound up. All right, this guy's perfect. I love
Okay.
him. He's great.
All right, Barris. You got your intern for a while, but we're not paying for it. So,
okay, like I said, just keep thinking that.
all right. Well, all we have to do is cancel the credit card.
Well,
Sharon,
don't worry. I
Sharon.
mean, you can cancel the one you know of, but not the one you don't know of.
Oh, well. Rabbi might be
Well,
going
You know what
away
you
for
should.
a while.
You know what you should have. Ching. The
Cha-ching.
king card. Never
Yeah.
leave the king cave without it.
The king. Now it's the king cave. Okay.
I should have a rabbi credit card.
You
You
should.
should.
You should.
That'd be awesome.
So, getting back to WrestleMania 2, we now go over to Chicago, which, what was it, Logan? Who were the celebrities? It was Lord Alfred Hayes, Gorilla, and Kathy Griffin,
Yeah.
Kathy Griffith Cross. I can't say the name right. Hold on. Like I could picture who it is too. Kathy Lee Crosby. That was it. It was Gorilla Gene Okerlund and Kathy Lee Crosby were your announced team in Chicago. Much better, a little better than New York. So here's your match card for the Chicago portion of WrestleMania 2. You had the Fabulous Moolah versus Velvet McIntyre. Corporal Krishner defeats Nikolai Volkov. You had the Invitational Battle Royal. I guess I could just say who won it. Andre the Giant won that. I'm not going to read every participant unless you guys want me to. Well, when we get to that,
that's a long list.
Well, when we get to that match, I'll put out a couple of names, just notable names. That's it. How about that? And then you had one of Logan's favorite of this segment was the British Bulldogs with Captain Lou and Ozzy Osbourne versus the Dream Team of Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake. So, Fabulous Moolah versus Velvet McIntyre.
Off. Move on. It's not even worth talking about. It's not even worth talking about.
Hold on.
That was such a long technical match.
Here is my
it was a long technical
assessment. Here's my assessment of that match. Okay. That is my assessment of that match. Waste of time.
Barris, did you want to say anything about that match?
Just, strong technical moves from both competitors. I mean, just kept your attention for the whole minute and 25 seconds. I mean,
was that really it?
It was 1 minute.
I thought it was shorter than that.
It's honestly everything a WrestleMania match should be.
I just have one thing to say about it because it went ding, 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 and then all of a sudden, I think Moolah took her by the hair, and we were both like, because I didn't remember what happened in this match, and Logan was like, "Oh, what the geez." But it was over. But by the time the bell was done going, hing, the match was over.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Move on.
Corporal Krishner defeats Nikolai Volkov.
Yeah, didn't even watch this match. Didn't even watch it.
Yeah, you did. You were sitting right next to me.
Yeah, I know, but I wasn't paying attention to it. It had nothing to grasp. It had your classic, heel versus babyface, America versus Russia. It was not an impressive match.
Technically it was a flag match, but they didn't do anything with the flag.
I know, but it's it wasn't an impressive wrestling match at all. It was boring. It was slow. The ending was garbage.
We'll get to what we thought the worst match of the whole WrestleMania was. That's a little later.
Okay.
But yeah, Corporal Krishner defeats Nikolai Volkov. Honestly, this was one of the matches that, as many times as I've seen this WrestleMania, it never kept my attention. It was this was one of the ones I would always fast forward through. I don't know why. There was just something about it. But, then you went to the Invitational Battle Royal, which was basically they were promoting the WWE and NFL Battle Royal. So you had various current and former football players that participated in this Battle Royal, notably William the Refrigerator Perry, which Logan kept saying, how many times are they going to say refrigerator?
Oh, my God.
There's a shot game. Watch WrestleMania 2 Battle Royal. Every time they say that name, you have to do a shot.
Yeah, there you go.
You'll be hammered in the first 30 seconds.
But then also had two. Now we're all from the Pittsburgh area on the show, but we had two local boys participate in this Battle Royal.
Technically three.
Technically three. Okay. Technically three. Well, he played here. I don't know if he was still living here. Or I don't know if he's homegrown from here. Ernie Holmes, the former Pittsburgh Steeler. But you had Bruno Sammartino and Bill Fralick, who was at that time back in '86 an Atlanta Falcon. But I told Logan this. He actually went to Penn Hills High School. And I think I think I might be wrong on this, but I think it's the Bill Fralick Stadium or athletic complex down in Penn Hills, where the high school is, because he would always give back a lot of money. I know he just passed away a few years ago too. But then, yeah, you also had Ernie Holmes from the Pittsburgh Steelers. But there was a lot of people in here that Logan had no idea who they were when it came to the wrestlers.
Yeah. This
You
is
knew who
kind
the
of,
Hart Foundation was.
yeah, I knew obviously the Hart Foundation.
The Iron,
and
the
stuff.
Sheiky Baby.
Sheiky Baby was in there. He
Big
was
John
fun.
Studd, and so on
Yeah.
and so forth. But
most of them, no, this was about maybe a year, 2 years pre to when I got into wrestling.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people, by the time I got in, weren't there anymore. But I know them from legacy. But a lot of these guys in the ring, I had no clue who they were whatsoever.
Well, the big thing that I got is I always enjoyed these battle royals from these golden years. You know, I don't know why, but we don't have to talk about the whole battle royal. But there was a point at the end where it was the Hart Foundation and Andre were the only ones left in the ring, right?
Yeah.
Brett goes.
That's after the fridge went out.
That's after the refrigerator went out. Oh, it's well after the fridge went out. All I could say is when Brett's boot, her head hits Andre's boot.
Oh my God. It was like,
go ahead and describe the scene there.
All right. So by this time, Andre is balls to the wall tired. You could tell it. Okay. So he has spent a majority of the time leaning on the ropes. So he's leaning on the turnbuckle. Hart Foundation basically run at him. Okay. He starts to get up and run, and he does a big kick. All right. I'm thinking Brett misjudged how long his leg actually was, because this thing hit Brett square in the face, and you just see his head whip downwards when he hit the mat. There was this noise that went with it, like clonk. It was just bad. It was terrible. To Brett, though, he went down, grabbed his head, got up. You could tell it shook him a bit, but he fucking got up and went on with the match.
Yeah, he did.
But my God, that must have hurt.
Yeah, that must have hurt.
The battle royal, I'm just going to say this. Once all of or 90% of the celebrity people have been kicked out, then it got interesting. You know,
well, they had to protect them.
Yeah,
because but half of those football players were current football players, and I'm like, you can't. That's why I was always saying, wow, they let the Falcons let one of their star players do this. Like, what happens if you break his leg?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, they had to protect him. They couldn't do anything.
Yeah, Andre suffers from Undertaker problem, or old Undertaker problem of, if you're in a battle royal and you're like a slow moving like behemoth, you know, you're going to walk around and crush people. In a battle royal where there's just chaos around you, you just look totally out of place.
Yeah.
Like totally out of place. It wasn't bad. Wait until most of the guest people have been kicked out, then it turns into a decent match.
Yeah. Did Barris like this one?
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, that's what I said. It was all right.
Yeah, I'm not huge in the football, so for me, it wasn't as big as it would be for other people to get to see some of their favorite football stars in it.
Well, no, regardless of the football, just the battle royal in general.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't that. I could have done without it, but
it wasn't good, but it wasn't bad.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you. So Andre the Giant came out the victorious winner. Well, I just said
the victor.
The victor. Yeah. Barris has thrown me off here. Yeah, Rabbis. All right, so
blame the rabbi.
Yeah, always blame the rabbi. Apparently.
Well, of course. Now
that's how wars get started, dude.
Now,
right?
Wow.
Too soon,
dude. Too soon. I could go somewhere right now, but I'm not. I could say something. I am behaving.
Mm-hmm.
It's too soon. Let's wait until this war's over and things happen. Then we can say something.
It should only be like 3 or 4 more days.
till Ukraine kicks their ass. That's right. But
Yeah, tell
anyway,
me about it.
what? I heard it. Did you hear that? Someone said it. Anyway. All right. So the match that I think the last part of the Chicago section of WrestleMania 2 is where Logan started to get interested in this WrestleMania. Not that he wasn't already, but I could really say he started to pep up here a little.
Well, yeah, with the next upcoming match, I mean, how can't you?
British Bulldog.
Exactly. British
with,
Bulldog.
With Captain Lou and Ozzy, when Ozzy could still talk normal. I shouldn't say that. That's terrible. But it's true.
He can still talk normal, somewhat.
Versus the dream team of Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah.
With Johnny Valiant in their corner. I'm just going to start out by saying Dynamite Kid running the ropes. Holy shit.
My God. So underrated. Wrestlers
I think
so underrated.
I had to point it out to you because I was just like, did you just see what he did? I think
we rewound it. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, because you literally looked away for that split second because you were getting like your soda or pop or something or whatever, and you hear me go, holy shit. And you're like, what? I was like, Dynamite ran those ropes. And we rewound it. I showed it to you, Barris. If you would have seen Logan's jaw was on the floor.
Oh, I imagine. The dude freaking flies like a bullet.
Like,
insane.
literally. He had to, and Gorilla even said he had to be running 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. It was crazy good how fast he was.
Hello?
He's coughing.
Oh, okay.
Logan's coughing. So we'll talk about the British Bulldog. He just gave me this, wait a minute, signal. But no, it was a good match. The Bulldogs, I think this was their first WrestleMania.
Yep.
They just tagged up, right? Because they were both singles.
Yeah, they who was it? The Dream Team, they had done a shoot interview and they were talking on how they weren't sure if they were ready yet. And they're like, I mean, we got to do what we got to do. We got told what's going on, but we're not sure. And they just weren't sure yet. But I mean, it all ended up working out because both teams are, etched in history. But I was a huge fan of the Dream Team. Fan of the Dream Team when I was little.
Both teams were good. Greg Valentine did most of the work for his team.
Oh, yeah.
On this match. Like, Brutus wasn't in a lot. And I want to say it was about 50-50 with Dynamite and Davey Boy as far as ring time. But I did notice both the British Bulldogs were muscular. They had some muscle on them. They weren't as big as, say, when you saw them in like WrestleMania 4 or something like that. Like, Dynamite was big, but he wasn't the Dynamite I knew because it was so early into the WWF career, But
they just come from Canada.
Yeah. But I mean, there was some good wrestling in this match. I mean, it wasn't super fast paced. It was fast paced when it had to be, but it wasn't. It wasn't so slow that you're going, okay, just get this over with, as Logan always likes to say. Move on.
Move along.
But no, it was a good match. I enjoyed it. Logan enjoyed it. I know that because he was rooting them on. This is where this is where he really, I think this is one of the two matches he said he felt like a kid again.
And it wasn't like, they're British, it's the British Bulldog. I have to because, I'm English. No, it wasn't. It was old school. This is what a WrestleMania match should be. Crowd was popping. You're right. Beefcake did do a lot, but he looked amazing because he always does with the crazy tiger stripes. I
was saying he wasn't in there a lot.
Yeah, I'm just saying he looked amazing anyway. So
you just like his attire.
Yeah, his attire was amazing. Yeah. But yeah, it was a super nostalgic match. It was so fun to watch. And remember, I'm walking into this not having watched it for probably 20 years. All right, I can't remember this. So, I might not have actually seen this one.
I don't think you said you've never seen this Mania.
Because I've never seen one or two. Never seen one or two. Okay, so I'm taking every match at face value. I knew who the bad guys were. I knew who the good guys were. I was told a story throughout the match. It
Yeah.
was classic old wrestling. It was really
It
good.
was.
Watch this match for Dynamite Kid, though. Amazing.
I'm gonna say this
It's
again.
amazing.
Dynamite Kid running the ropes.
Yup, beautiful.
Yeah. The other thing about Dynamite.
The fun one about this was oh, sorry, I hit a wrong button on my screen again. What am I doing?
Oh,
I'm
good
live.
Lord, dude. Come
I
on.
tell you, what is going on here? There we go.
So,
yeah, let's go.
huh?
It's good.
Oh, it's good. You're good. So
Yeah.
this match ended at 13 minutes and 3 seconds, and that ends the Chicago segment of WrestleMania 2.
I thought this segment was, again, when it first started, the Moolah match. No, a corporal kitschy person. All right, no. Even the Royal Rumble, no. The only good thing about the Chicago thing was the Bulldog versus the Dream Team. I mean, it was a great match. The rest of this segment is not worth watching.
Let me ask you
really
guys this.
ain't.
Gorilla Monsoon in this segment. Did he save it?
Gorilla saved the commentary. The chick that was with Gorilla,
Kathy Lee Crosby.
yeah, she wasn't so bad as the chick from New York,
Susan St. James.
but whereas Vince would fill the space by commentating more on the match, Gorilla would be telling a story about the match or the background or something to fill that gaps. She didn't actually do a lot of commentating, and it was only normally ever when Gorilla posed a question to her, which is kind of good because Gorilla then makes up for the lack of skill for another commentator. The best part of this was right at the end, where Gorilla and Mean Gene and her when they commentated on this match.
Well, you know something, Gene Mean? Iron Sheik should have won Battle Royal. Anyway.
Yeah, watch it for the commentary, but don't expect miracles here.
Real quick, I just thought of this now. Barris, I want to ask you a question going back to the first part of this WrestleMania.
No, we can't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
Now, you weren't here for this one. Mr. T versus Roddy Piper. What did you think about that?
geez. For the whole card, like looking over, because this was the first Mania I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That one, I wasn't a big boxing fan. Like, I mean, this was the 80s. This was Tyson. To me, it was like, all right, you're bringing this other sport into my sport, and I don't care to see it. But I was hoping that like Piper would just go rogue and throw the gloves off, and then just start like suplex and body slam and just everything. But I mean, it went a little long for my taste, but I mean, it did what it was supposed to.
You said exactly what Logan and I said. We were like, we've
Spot
never
on.
been big boxing fans. Now, we said this early in the show, Logan and I, like, if he invited me over to his house and, hey, why don't you just come over, hang out, get something to eat, and he happened to have a boxing match on, okay, I'll watch it.
Then that's cool.
I'll watch
Yeah.
it. We could have it on while we're bullshitting about it, or who knows. But I'll never go, ooh, I got to go throw on the Tuesday night fights or something, or I got to go find a boxing match. I'll never do that. I won't go out of my way to watch a boxing match. It's just not my cup of tea. Okay,
Yeah.
I can appreciate the athleticism with the boxers have. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I think Logan, we said this in the world of wrestling, this was the gimmick.
Yeah.
It was something different. Vince was trying to dabble into boxing. Hey, maybe we could have a boxing match, because I think originally he wanted to do a boxing
WBF.
match. Well, yeah, the WBF. But I think he originally wanted to have this as like a staple, like we'll have a boxing match every once in a while. But it just never took off. But anyway.
That came back to haunt him years later.
Yeah, right. Tough. Brawl for All. That's it.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Dr. Death. That's another story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
So out of 5 stars, guys, 1 to 5 stars, the Chicago segment of WrestleMania, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it 2 stars, but I want those 2 stars exclusively placed right on the Bulldog fight. Nothing else before that merits you watching this.
Okay.
With the first match being the technical masterpiece that it was, and the last match being awesome, the ones in the middle, I'm gonna go 2.
Yeah, I think we have a unanimous decision here. I wouldn't go higher than 2 stars on this specific segment, but I will say this segment, the matches seem to move a little quicker, as in wrestling moves. I'm not talking about time. I'm talking about what they did in the matches.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed to be a little more fast-paced matches themselves.
And the Hammer unloading with a beautiful elbow right off the top turnbuckle. The tide has turned here. The pendulum has shifted and is now in favor of the champions.
And just that quick, too. That's the amazing part of this great sport.
Perhaps shoulder breaker. Oh, yes. And well executed.
You called it, Gorilla.
Oh, look at that. He didn't want the 3 count. I can't believe it.
You've got to be kidding me.
The Hammer taking a big chance here. Probably could have had a 3 count. Davey Boy perched up on that second rope. What's he thinking about? Oh. Holy Moses, rammed right head first. And down. It's over. Just like that, it's over.
I can't believe it.
History made here at WrestleMania 2.
You have got to be kidding me. This place is coming apart.
Pandemonium broken loose here in the Rosemont horizon as history made in WrestleMania 2 as we have new World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Champions